Start recording. Configured output path. Hold on. Configured file output path is invalid. Please check to confirm that valid path has been set. What does that mean? I think I'm live. No, it's offline. I'm not live. I am live. Here we
You want me
are.
to check?
Yeah, we're good to go. We're live.
All right.
I'm seeing it. Oh, I was live. No. Am I live? Can you check? I think
I'm
I, I think
looking.
I was live and then it cut out.
We're live.
We're live again. All right.
We are live.
All right. So, hey, what's going on? It's Joe Petcher coming to you this afternoon on Friday. I have a very special Facebook Live. I have an awesome guest. And today's. Is that you're picking up?
Sorry, I was
No,
just checking.
you're good. Thank you. Where today's topic, is why successful network marketing leaders are adapting to new strategies. And on our live today, I have an awesome friend of mine. We became friends through a mentoring program. Her name is Beck Sedek.
Sadek.
Sadek. Damn it. I wanted to say it the way our friends say it, but I knew that wasn't right either. So Sadek. Beck, if you can go ahead and just like let people know who you are, your little story of your network marketing journey, because it's awesome. She's a six-figure earner in her network marketing business. She's actually, I don't want to spoil it. She's awesome. Go ahead.
Thanks, Joe. Good to be here with all of you guys. What's going on? So I have been in network marketing for a little over 8 years now. Been in health and wellness for like a decade. Started off as a health coach, and had my first 15 months in network marketing, I made six figures. So I had some initial success right out of the gate. And just kind of like fell in love with the business model, like
Mm-hmm.
Joe, I think you feel the same way, right? Like I love network marketing. I love it. And had some initial success. Probably like a couple years after that initial success, I just kind of started to feel like things were slowing down, plateauing. Not necessarily like declining, but I always feel like when you're not growing, you're in decline, right?
Yeah.
So started to definitely feel like things were not growing as fast as they were at the beginning. And I had grown my business using like kind of more old school strategies at the beginning. Like I was doing hotel meetings and home parties and like lots of three-way calls. And I was doing 2 to 3 reach outs a day
Mm-hmm.
and all the things, like all the things we're told to do, right?
Yep.
So that's how I really grew my business. But I was also like a lot like you, Joe. I relate to a lot of your journey too. I was also using social media like kind of in an old school way. Like I had people that were definitely coming to me, and I was like kind of utilizing what we now know of as attraction marketing without even knowing what I was doing.
Yep.
So I was also using social media as well. What I started to notice was like all these things that I did in my first few years in network marketing, they were not working as well as they once were, right? And I think part of that is that I had started to burn through my warm market, which is
So
happens to
you
everyone.
did like when you said like traditional network marketing, you did like the whole make a list of friends and family. Did you do like a launch party, home party? Was your that kind of system, or was it just right on like social media?
Yeah, I did all that. I did a launch party.
And
I
you had
did
success. You built it, but then after a while, it just started. You ran
started
out
to
of people.
yeah, it started to fizzle out because like unless you have a system to be meeting new people really at a rapid pace, you're gonna run out of people, right? It doesn't matter if you're building online or offline, you have to have a way to bring in new people.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was my experience. I started to see things kind of fizzle out. I was running out of people to talk to. And that was probably like 3 years ago that I was really like, all right, something's got to shift.
Let me ask you this question real quick because as leaders,
Mm-hmm.
right, we get that objection from people who are looking to join our business, but their one objection is, well, I don't know anybody, right? And we're always like, you know people, you do know people. You do like have a list of people, right? But
You
like
do know people, yes.
the real objection is, I don't want to sell to these people. I don't want to put my family and friends into these awkward situations. I think that's really what most people are saying. I'm like, yes, some people do say they don't know anybody, but at the same time, even if you have a list of 1,000 people, how do you, as a new leader in this new age of social media, find new people to talk to? Because you also have to adopt a mindset of abundance, right? That there's always people to talk to, always looking for stuff. But like, how do you adapt to that as with new strategy? Because for me, when I was told that stuff, it was just like the how was just talk to people, like the 3-foot rule, the grocery store clerk, people in the mall, foreign people, family, occupation, recreation. You know, like, so how do you do this?
Right. So I'll tell you one thing that the way I used to do it does not work anymore for most people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when I used to like post on social media all the time, let people know that I had like challenges happening and groups happening and like weight loss contests and like we've got this special deal where if you join now, you get this product for free. So it was very much, it was very salesy, right?
Yeah.
And I think in the early days of social media, that stuff worked because nobody was used to it, right? It was like almost like the floodgates opened. It was like, oh my gosh, I don't have to do home parties anymore. I've got this social media thing and I can just post right here that I've got this weight loss thing happening
Yep.
and I'm going to get people. What I've seen change and shift over the past few years is that has people have become numb to that. It's
Yeah.
actually become a little bit annoying and a little bit spammy. And people do not comment on it anymore. They actually straight up ignore it, and oftentimes they start to unfollow you if you're doing it too often.
Yeah.
Um,
Even if it's something that's like not directly product post, like it's like not here's a Chevrolet. You know, it could just be like I have a new car. You don't even mention the name, but you do so much about the car, it, like you're saying, it becomes numb. So you can go through and not mention your company or the product by name, but even after a while, if you're doing that too often, it starts to become white noise because it's essentially the same people.
yes, exactly. That's true. So you have to. So that's a really good point. You have to find a way to like continue refreshing and growing your audience.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do that, you're right. You're going to just keep talking to the same people over and over again, and it's going to become like white noise because you're posting the same thing to the same people, and they've already made a decision that they're interested or they're not.
Yeah. Or if you've also spoiled the story, right, and told what company you're with, they've gone to Google and done their research without ever talking to you.
Which is like the worst thing that can happen. I get a lot of pushback on this actually
Yeah,
from
talk to
some
me about
people.
that. Talk to me about why it's important to unbrand you from your network marketing company.
Yeah, so the pushback on this is that it's deception, right? It's deceitful or you're trying to hide something if you don't come right out and say what your product is and what company you're with. And at the end of the day, it's not deception, it's called marketing. Okay? So we are in network marketing and the people that are successful in it, they learn how to be good marketers.
Mm-hmm.
And part of being a good marketer is creating curiosity around what it is that you're doing, right? Like at the end of the day, you want to have conversations with people.
Which is
You
where the
want to connect
networking
with,
comes in.
right? Exactly. Right. So you want to have conversations with people. If you want to have conversations with people, you've got to pique their curiosity. That's attraction marketing.
Yep.
So if you are leading with your products and your company name and dropping your link everywhere, nobody's going to have a conversation with you because you're giving it all away. They're going to go and do their own research.
Yeah.
That's just kind of the world we live in right now. So the pushback on that, people that are pushing back on that are missing the point that you're actually doing a disservice to people. You're sending them to Google. And then most people, when they go to Google, they make a decision they're not interested for whatever reason. But the ones who don't, I'm pretty sure you're going to love this, Joe. The ones who don't make that decision and actually order something, they don't even tell you they're ordering.
Yeah.
So they go to your website and they buy the most obscure freaking product on the planet that's not even going to help them reach their goals, right?
Yeah.
So you've actually done like your prospect who wants a solution a disservice.
Yeah, because we're in the recommendation business. So how can you recommend without having that person come to you and ask you for advice or
Right.
ask you for your opinion? So if you put, even if it's just your link to your store, they can go there and see what it's about without and leapfrog you. And we don't want to leapfrog. Like that used to work. Like seriously, I was in the day where blasting your product and because it was new and people didn't know what it was or they knew what you were doing. That was curiosity enough because they didn't know your product. But now it's just like you got to change tactics a little bit. Like the fundamentals don't get changed. Like the follow-ups and the process of the conversation and the invitation to take a look at the product and the invitation to buy, that doesn't change. But the tactic to get people who are actually curious and interested in a solution that you have to offer, that needs to constantly be like tweaked.
Right.
Because
Exactly.
we did a, like, and again, if you're just joining me, I didn't do a good job of this at the beginning. If you're just joining me, say hi, where you're from. If you're catching the replay, word replay. And if you're getting value so far from back in what we're talking about, drop the word value. Um, but that was one of my big obstacles when all this was. I forgot what I was going to say, but like, go ahead, keep going. Like, what other tips would you have for people who are kind of either pushing back with unbranding from their network marketing company, or because you're right, that is the number one pushback is like it doesn't feel honest, it feels deceitful that you're hiding from something, but you're not.
No, you're not. You're branding yourself. At the end of the day, that's what you're doing, and that's what everybody should be doing.
And
Because
I think that's hard for a lot of people because I know on one of on the call we did before this, I talked about one of my pet peeves. That's like adding value, right? Also branding yourself. I think that's hard for people to do because then it's an existential type of question. Who am I?
it's so true.
It is.
I
You
think
go through like,
it's
who am I? I have nothing of value. I don't know how to do this, and you freak out when it's just like, no, you just be you online. Just, well, who am I? And that's that existential question. The same thing that goes with add value. And we make it more complicated than it is versus if we just align ourselves with a product or a company, then we become that.
we don't have to do the work.
And that's easier,
Right. It's
which is
easier.
crazy. Did you have that happen to you in your old company? Because you're now with your second company, super successful. You're taking these new. I want to talk a little bit more about that. But did you have that with your old company where you became so well known for your company's product, whatever, you became the blank girl?
100%. Like 100%. And that's the old way of doing network marketing. Um, the new way is being known for who you are, right?
Yep.
And it's funny because I get this question all the time, like, I don't know what my brand is. Well, what are you passionate about? What can you talk about all day long?
Yeah.
Because if you're branding yourself, you got to be showing up for this audience that you're building, right? That's what attraction marketing is about, so consistently that you're actually almost sick of seeing yourself and hearing yourself. And if you're going to commit to doing that, then you better brand yourself around something that you're passionate about, or else you're going to quit like
Yeah.
right away.
And I would get really clear. This helped me too. Is like I struggle with this for some reason, but I get really clear with your personal values, your personal belief system as to what you uphold, because that's going to be part of your value system as to what your brand is. Like for me, and maybe you can share what your values are, but for me, it's like it's hard work, dedication, passion, and heart. Right? Those are like that's my belief system. It's just like that's what I'm about. Heart, passion, excitement, enthusiasm. Like that's part of my, don't just show up for those things. Like, do you have something similar to that?
That's a really good question. To be very honest with you, that's actually not something that I have like ready to go. It's a good question though. I mean, there's definitely like personal values of mine that I try and show up with and bring to my brand every single day. One of
Consistency
them,
is one of them, I think, for you. Like consistency, professionalism.
consistency for sure, professionalism. I would also say, like, without a doubt, like being unapologetically yourself.
I love that one about you.
Like it is so key and rare in today's world on social media for people to just freaking show up as themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally find it refreshing when people do that. And I think people struggle to show up because they feel like they have to be like somebody else, or
They
they
hide
have to
behind their
be
product or their brand that's not them. They like take that
exactly.
on, and that's fine. And then that's and this is where I think you do a better job because you're unapologetic. It's like, listen, stop doing that. Well, I'm just like I always kind of feel like, well, if it's working for you, I don't want to tell you to stop doing it. But at the same time, I'm like, I know you're losing out on some sales and you're losing out on some people probably because you're just giving away the ending of your show because you put a link up there. I don't ever have to talk to you. I can just find everything I need to learn. I can read every negative review in the planet too. That's the other thing about this, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
what led you? What was the big turning point for you as to like you got to learn a better way? How do I like what did you want? What was missing in your business that you felt like you needed to take it to the next level?
Being stuck at like the same level, income level, rank, place in my business that I was for 3 years, and not for lack of effort.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I wasn't sitting around just kind of like hoping and praying things were going to change. I was working my ass off.
Yeah.
And it was like, I believe in this business model, like 100%. At the time, I really believed in the company I was with. And I knew that it was not any of those things. It wasn't for lack of effort. It wasn't for aligning myself with something I believed in. It was literally because I needed to find a new strategy. And it was like, what, you either quit and you find something else to do, or you
Mm-hmm.
find a new strategy. So that's really what led me to start looking around and seeing what, like, what are the people that are growing in today's like environment? What are they doing?
Yeah.
What are they doing? And when you really looked around, and still today, if you really look around, the people that are like online and growing quickly are using attraction marketing.
Absolutely. And there's a system behind the attraction marketing, because again, there's like that vague they're using attraction marketing, because I've heard that too, but it's like you got to look under the hood. Like what does that consist of? And you and I got connected to a mentorship and a program that I was very skeptical about joining. Like I think a lot of us are who join network marketing. There's a little bit of cynicism and skepticism in
Totally.
them.
We're also both New Yorkers,
We're
so
also, yeah, we're East
we're
Coast. We got to bust
skeptical.
balls.
Yeah.
But it's just like, from like, what made you take that plunge and like say, you found this thing that would to learn a better way, because you knew there had to be something out there. You saw other people doing it. What was it about what you saw said, you know what, I need to learn this, or they're the people I want to align myself with to learn this system?
Well, I saw it was working, number
Mm-hmm.
one,
Results.
right? They were getting results, and that was key. The thing that really like hit me is I was following like three or four people that were like getting results, making it happen. I got their brand. Like it made sense to me. And when I dug in and did my research, they actually all roads led back to one mentorship company. Like they had all been trained by the same people.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, like that's where I'm going, right?
Mm-hmm.
All these people that are getting massive results and that are clearly successful using current strategies were trained by the same mentorship company.
Which is like, I don't want to use the word crazy, but like one of those people, I don't want to mention them, but like one of my people on my coaches mentioned him like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And then like, that's the dude he follows. But when I joined this mentorship, I learned he came out of this mentorship. He just didn't learn all this stuff himself. I was like, whoa, Ray Higdon. Ray Higdon came out of our program.
Yeah, it's
And it
crazy.
was just, I just throw it out there. That's credibility. But I was like, oh yeah, Ray Higdon, sure, he's just teaching the same stuff. But then when you learn, like, he came out of attraction marketing,
Totally.
and it's just like this. Ah. Anyways, well, is there anything else you want to add to why successful marketers, and leaders need to, like, that's the other thing too. As a leader, I think it's also important to be aware and self-aware that there are different things that you can learn. I think as a leader, you do yourself a disservice if you, and this is where I got stuck, if you are willing to collect a paycheck but unwilling to do the work, but tell other people they need to do the work. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
it totally makes sense. And a
Because
lot of leaders do that.
that's where I got. So as a leader, you're a leader because you're like, all right, I need to be authentic. I can't just tell my team to go message 15 people a day if I'm not willing to do it.
And I wasn't.
No, and that's where I'm at too. I'm like, there's got to be a better way. So like, if you're talking to an older leader, or you're following an older leader, and they're still telling you, like, even though they're using social media, but they're telling you to do things that are like kind of backwards today, like 15, 20, 30, 40 cold messages a day. What would you say to those leaders who want to push back and be like, no, this is what you got to do? Or, you know what I mean? Or to anybody who says, well, my upline is telling me to do it this way.
I think one of the most important things you can do for yourself as a leader is stay current. Like if you're relying on the things that worked to get you to the top of your company 10 years ago, and you're teaching your team to do the same thing today and they're not getting results, you're doing a disservice by your team. And I hate to say this because this is controversial, but you know me, Joe.
Stir
They,
the pot.
they're going to leave you.
Yeah.
They're going to leave you. They're going to find somebody who can teach them the strategies that are working today, that aren't putting them through, messaging 15 to 20 people cold, spammy bullshit.
And that happened to me. I don't think I told
What,
you this, but that's what broke me. Like a couple,
what
that's
do you
like
mean?
I had a conversation earlier today with a person I just connected, and I was telling her like about 4 years ago, 3 years ago, I went through burnout. But then what broke me was because again we were trying to do this system of inviting people every day using Instagram or Facebook private messaging, 15, 20 people a day. We would get on like these Zoom chats to where we would do a power hour and just do it. And I was like, I don't want to do that. And I was struggling with doing it. But the person who kept showing up, she wanted to, but I was failing her to do it because I didn't want to do it. So she quit. She took her husband with her, who actually was the person who joined me. And that broke me because they were my friends. And it wasn't personal. It's just I was failing as a leader to be able to teach them a better way to build it. And I was struggling to do that. And so she rejoined with the same network, but joined with a different team that was
Wow.
more supportive of that methodology of inviting 20, 30 people a day. So it was just
Wow.
like, I just wasn't going to do that just because I also knew that and I said this in our other call, I looked under the hood. Majority of these top leaders who are telling people to do that kind of number, they've outsourced that to somebody else. And that's an integrity problem for me. Because how am I going to tell someone to sit there on a computer screen for an hour a day and cold message 30 people, right? I'm not talking just copy and paste. I'm just talking cold messaging. Hey girl, hey boy, what's up, dude? Right? Like, but like, how do you do that? And then like that was my failure. That was my aha in terms of just like I'm failing my team because I don't have something that I believe in to teach them. Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense. And I think that that's a danger that every leader in our industry puts themselves in if they don't continuously skill up,
Yeah.
learn, and stay with the times. And
And that was
just
the
because,
thing. I was trying to skill up and learn, but because I was already at that six-figure point, they weren't. And I wasn't really trying to do what was being taught by corporate or by other top people. It made a conflict with us. Well, I'm trying to learn something different because I believe there's something better. They struggled. So now I don't know if you've ever had that. You say that example, and that's true. You now actually have a proof, right? You use my story back when you tell people that they will
yeah,
leave
that's
you.
crazy.
They left me. And I don't blame them. I'm not mad at them. I was like, I even gave them advice because I was like, listen, if you sign back up with someone else, make sure you get placed here and not here because you're going to be in the same situation structure wise with our company.
Yeah, I mean, but like thank you for sharing that because that's crazy. But also from
We could
my
do another
perspective,
Facebook Live saying they will leave you.
yeah, they will leave you. But from my perspective, that's actually my story too because I left,
Yeah.
right?
Your
I
your
was with a
upline didn't want you doing any of this, right?
No, they were not against it. I should not say that because that would be false.
Okay.
They were not against it, but they weren't learning it. They weren't willing to learn it, and they weren't willing to admit that there might be another way.
Yeah.
They said you go do whatever you want, but like we're never going to learn that. We're never going to teach that. That wasn't the big issue though. This was actually the big issue, and this might really surprise you is that more so than that, my team, my actual downline wasn't really willing to go where I was going.
Yeah.
So I was skilling up and learning all these new things, and I was trying to come back and teach my team, and they weren't very receptive to it. They didn't like that I was saying we got to stop using the company name. They did not like that. They were like,
my team pushed back.
Right. You need to have pride around what we're doing. Like, you know, all the things that people push back on when it comes to that. And I was like, guys, I'm proud. It's nothing to do with that. I'm not trying to be deceptive. I'm trying to teach us a better marketing system so that we can continue growing.
So you can level up. You can get better.
Right.
That's what this is. So you can get better without the bullshit, without the chasing of friends and family. And it's just like it's crazy because like I went with the mentorship program that I was talking about, and the link is in the description actually for the 10-day boot camp, just in case anyone's watching and they want to know what we're involved with. And that's how I started. That's how Beck started. Is that email system. But like when I first got involved with this, you know, I do what I think most people do when they find a solution to their problem is they want to tell people. So I told one of my best friends, my upline, my sponsor, this new thing that I found. And she told me exactly what your upline did, right?
Go do it.
Like, go do it, but it's not for me right now. I'm not interested. We have something. It's working, blah, blah, blah. You go do you. And I was like kind of hurt because I know it's tough to do this alone. Especially when you're trying to build something brand new and your other, like even the people you bring in kind of reject you, even though they don't reject you. It's a soft rejection. But here's the crazy part to that. 2 years again, this is the importance, right? This is the importance of being consistent, learning new skills and training it. She came back to me, my upline was like, all right, what are you doing? I want to learn this now. Can we do it? So I taught her the enrollment funnel. She sponsored 7 people last week.
Stop.
From a funnel. From attraction marketing, swipe up, click here, go through this funnel, thank you video, schedule your time, sponsor.
Because this is the really cool thing. All right. I love that you just said that, because this is the cool thing. For people that are seasoned in this industry, like people that know how to close, right?
Yep.
You give me a warm body, I will close you. Not everyone can do that. Right. But seasoned leaders, they know how to do that. You don't get to the top not learning how to close. You give them a system like this on top of the skill set that they have.
Yeah.
They're going to freaking kill it.
Yeah. So again, it was just like, so like my, it's just that combination. It's like, yes, 2 years ago I was hurt. No one was really coming with me. No one from my own. So it's like, I'm kind of starting over with brand new people coming into my business who are willing to learn this new way. Cause it's hard to change habits of people who are, like you said, they're rooted. We're cheating on our company. You're not telling people who we are. We're deceitful. But it's like, when you start to show evidence that it's working and you're that leader. So it's called Rooftop Leadership. That's another one that I loved from this guy, Scott Mann, that I used to follow. He was a Green Beret, and his story was like when he was in Afghanistan shooting, and he was protecting this Afghan tribe. The tribe wouldn't come in. When the Taliban would come to attack the tribe, no one from that tribe they were defending would fight with the Green Berets. But it was like day after day after day of fending off the Taliban, of getting to the top of the roofs and firing at the invaders. Eventually, another another bullet started firing that wasn't there from them, but it was in the direction of the Taliban. And before you knew it, the whole tribe was fighting against the Taliban because the Green Berets were there and they showed up every day. I made it emotional because it's such an awesome story. They showed up every day and they fought together, and they showed that that they were actually there with them. And and that's the thing too. It's just like, because you're doing something new, because you're doing something different, don't give up, because you're doing it from the rooftop. You're climbing up that ladder to that rooftop and you're firing in the same direction. Even though no one's firing with you at that time, don't give up. And that's the other thing that I love about you, and I love about the community we're in. We're all from different networks. We all have different opportunities. We all have different products, but we're all firing in the same damn direction. And that's what I love.
Yeah. And I think it's important too, because, I believe that like this industry is about being a professional, right? Like you believe that too, right? It's not a hobby. If you don't want it to be a hobby, you have to show up as a professional. And when there's a community of people that are up leveling together and firing in the same direction, as you just said, like professionally, we are up leveling the industry.
Yep. I love that. I love that. Beck, is there anything else you want to end with or connect with?
No, I mean, thanks for having me on here. I love having this discussion. This is like, if you guys, all I can say is that if you are in this industry, direct selling, network marketing, whatever you want to call it, MLM, and you have not adapted to the new way of attraction marketing, you're missing out. So jump on the train, learn some new skills. Your team will thank you. Your income will thank you. And I just think it's really important to continue up leveling no matter where you're at in your business.
Absolutely. Now, if anybody is watching this and they want to connect with Beck, how do they find you on Facebook?
You can find me on my page, which is Beck Sadek, which is right here on the screen. You can see my name, right?
Yeah, Sadek.
Yep. So come on over and hang out with me. I do live videos all the time like this.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Beck. I appreciate your time. And if you guys had an aha moment or something of this nature, leave in the comments. That's it. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Awesome.